Hey guys, Dane with Everything Board Games here. Today we're going to be taking a look at Company of Heroes. This is from Bad Crow Games, the same company that brought us Mech Command RTS. Remember I did a run through of that a couple years ago. Anyway, this is their new one. This is based on the popular computer RTS game Company of Heroes. I'm going to do a really quick run through today to show you how it plays. Obviously, I'm not going to hit all the rules because there is a lot going on in this game, but I wanted to give you at least a quick view of how you play it and what turns are like. So here I've got set up for a two-player game. One person is going to be the US troops. Okay, they've got their player board here that keeps track of their different resources and also has a position for their commander and for any experience points that they earn. They've got three different buildings. One is a set building, that you're building number one, which you start with every game, and your units that are unlocked with that, and then two additional buildings that will be unlocked throughout the game. When you do unlock them, you will have additional units available to use throughout the rest of the game. Okay, so this is the US. And then over on this side, you've got the German. They also have a big glare, sorry about that. They also have their player board. Same starting resources, different commander though. And then they've also got their buildings that have different units. Their starting building with those units, and then their additional buildings as they go throughout the game. Now I want to say really quick, this game plays two different ways. First is a real-time strategy, where basically each player will be moving their units using their command points, and I'll explain that in a second, and then resolving conflicts after the movement is done. And that's typically a 3-minute process. There is a timer that comes with the game that will keep track of that for you so that you can get done in time. The second way to play, and the one that I'll demonstrate today, is turn-based, and there's not a whole lot of difference besides the first action movement phase, and I'll show you how that works out. So each player starts with two troops out on the board from their starting building. I've got, over here on the US side, we picked a rifleman and the mortar team. So you can see that the models on these cool trays here, we've got the rifle team here, and then we've got the mortar team back over there, and they're ready to go. And then similar over on the German side, they have their two troops, the grenadier team, and then their MG42 team, which is a really cool machine gun. And we might explain how that works later too. But again, I don't want to get too much into the rules. All right, each round, players are going to be spending their 9 action cubes. That's what these guys are. This guy has green, and this guy has red. Okay, they're going to be spending their 9 action cubes to move their troops to different positions. And so once it's determined who goes first, it's typically whoever's the furthest along the victory point track here, or whoever has the highest production values here, will get to go first. And before I take a turn, let me tell you what the objective of the game is. Each player is trying to score 15 points. I believe it's 15 points. Kept track down here on the tracker. You'll go through it to 9, and then you'll come back around a second time. You earn victory points by capturing different places on the board with these stars. Those are the victory point positions. Okay, and once you have that captured, each round you will earn victory points if you have your flag on that, and I'll explain that here in a second as well. All right, so objective, get to 15 points. Way to get to 15 points is capture these 3 areas out on the board. You don't have to capture all three. You can capture one and keep your opponent from getting on the others. I believe they've also talked about having objective cards that will also give you victory points. But for what I have right now, this is how you earn victory points. So let's say that the U.S. player gets to go first, and he's going to take 3 of his 9 action points to be able to spend on this turn in the round. And each unit, regardless of what type they are, can move 3. There are some exceptions with like the Jeeps and some of the faster vehicles. They get to an extra movement, which we'll explain in a minute, possibly. Okay, so first we're going to take this unit and it's going to move 1, 2, because it wants to get in there and capture that. So it moves 1, 2. Now it doesn't have to move anymore. It can end its movement there. I still have 1 left over, so I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to move him 1 up to there. Okay. Now I've spent my 3 command points for this turn, and so now the Germans are going to do the same. And they're going to do something similar. He's going to go 1, 2, 3 and move up to here. And then this other guy is just going to go 1, 2 and tuck in right here. Okay, oops, sorry, got the camera off a little bit. Now, oh, whoops, sorry. I can't do that. Retracting my statement. Okay, so he spent his 3. Now it's the U.S. turn again. He's already moved these guys too. He could move them again, but he really wants to end there so that he can capture this area, or cap it is what the term is. So he's going to go ahead and move this guy. He's already moved 1, so he can only move 2 more. So he's going to go 1, 2. Now, one of the cool things is you leave the cubes out on the board so you know how much everybody's moved in order to know if they've moved their max or not. Now, I do have 1 cube left, but since I've only got the 2 troops and they've both moved as far as I want them to, I'm going to pass. And we're going to come over here to the Germans, and they will do the same. This time they'll actually complete this move. All right, so each team has now gone through their movements. They both passed. They do have command points left, but they don't have any more units to command. So the next phase is resolve any combat. Now, my troops here, if we come down to our board, we can see that the riflemen have a 2 range and the mortar has 3, even though this has been corrected, is now 4. But we see out on the board that my guys are way far away from his guys. So there will not be any resolving of the combat on this turn. So the next phase is collecting income. So we come down here to our board, we see that we are earning 1 of each. And so we go ahead and move up on the board with each of these. There is no victory points being earned right now, so that stays at 0. Likewise, the player over here does the same. Goes up 1 for each of those. Now, each player is going to cap any locations that they've captured this turn. To do this, the player takes one of their flags and puts it on top of that post right there. They have now capped that. And when they do that, they come over here to their player board, sorry for the glare, and they're going to move up 1 on their income. So next turn, instead of just getting 1, they're going to go up 2. Okay. Same thing over here. This player is going to cap their location that they've captured. And you can tell each team has their own colored flags, so you know who's capped it, and you can actually take these from other players. So if I move in a troop and they're not there, I can sit there for 2 turns and I actually will capture it. Okay. Once it's capped, and I think I actually went out of order. I think you do your income and then you purchase and then you cap. but it's not going to affect it. So let's go ahead and move into the purchase phase. So we've moved, we've resolved combat, we've gone up in our income, we've capped, and now we're... All right, we'll now go into the buying phase. So you can see down here, the US player has 4 manpower, 2 munitions, and 2 fuel to spend. If we go over here to the cards to see what we can purchase, we see that another rifleman company costs 4 manpower, the mortar team costs 4 manpower, and the Willys Jeep costs 2 manpower and 2 fuel. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to spend 2 manpower, 2 fuel, and we are going to be able to deploy one of our Willys Jeeps. Now, when you deploy, you go anywhere on these first starting hexes. So I could be here, 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 depending on what my objective is. And I think for my Willy, I'm going to put him here because I think I want to go capture that victory point as fast as possible. Okay, so now that our buying turn's done, we'll go over here to the Germans, and they can again buy more grenadiers for 4, MG 42s for 4, and then they can get their Kugelwagen for 2 and 2. And I think they are going to do pretty much the same here. So they're going to spend 2 and 2 and get their Kugelwagen out. Again, they must deploy in this range right here, and so they are going to deploy more towards the front line. They're going to go attack, I think. Okay, once that is done, players clear off their command points, command points, whatever I want to call it. I'll change it 5 times anyway. All right, clear off all the command points, and now the next round is ready to begin. I'm just going to quickly pretend like we've done some other stuff here and show you a little bit about combat. Wrong troop. I need to bring in my riflemen just for a little bit of ease here, and we're going to use their guy here, and we're going to actually, we'll set it up like this. Whoa, I am not paying attention to where I'm pointing this thing. So let's say that we end our turn there. Both units are within range because they're within 2, 1, 2, and then same thing going back. Combat is automatic, and it's automatic except for a couple of situations. One is if a player has cover or some kind of a defense or armor against an attack, then they get to roll a defensive die. Or if the attacker, or even if you were the attacker, have something special, you can upgrade. These dice are really cool because they're multi-use. Let's say he's upgraded, so he gets an extra hit on when he attacks. So let's say that's the case. He's going to get to roll an extra defensive or offensive dice. Okay, now what that looks like is normally when they would attack, if he didn't have cover, and let's say they were like this, each team would remove 1 unit. As soon as they get down to 0 units, then the whole troop has been destroyed. Okay, so but in this case, let's say these guys were behind cover. That's what that yellow line is, and these guys are coming in to attack. What would happen is these guys would automatically destroy 1 of the units, and then these guys would have a chance to defend against the shot coming in. All right, so this player is going to be able to roll his dice for defense. Now, if he gets any of the black units or any of the green units, he is going to be safe. If it comes up red, then he's going to get hit. All right, came up green, so he missed because of the cover. Now, let's say, like I said before, that this troop is upgraded and has an additional hit. Now, if they're attacking each other again, this guy's going to do he's going to get a hit, but he also gets to roll for a hit. Now again, this time any green indicates an extra hit. So we're going to roll, and it's green, so he gets an extra hit. So he's actually got 2 damage coming in, and he's still behind cover, so he still gets to roll 1. Anything but red is a miss. All right, so only 1 got through, so he'll remove 1 guy, and then this guy also removes 1 because he gets his automatic 1 and he has no defense. So that's how combat goes. There's a lot more to it with the different units, but that is how it goes. Now, overall, the game is really simple as far as what you're doing. You've got your maneuver phase where you're using your command cubes. After that, you've got your purchase phase where you're going to, or sorry, your income phase where you're going to go ahead and gain your income. And then you're going to cap any areas, or uncap any areas for that matter, that you've captured. And then you're going to purchase and upgrade. As the game goes on, you'll be able to unlock these other buildings by paying these resources, making other units available, like I said. You can see an armored car comes into play. Those are really cool, by the way. Bam! That's what I'm talking about. You upgrade this one, and oh boy, here comes the tanks. And they've got their own little set of rules as well. But again, the basics of the game are you maneuver, you resolve your combat, you take income, and then you purchase. So that is a quick overview of Company of Heroes. As I mentioned before, I'll do a write-up as well that will give you my thoughts. But I just wanted to do a really quick playthrough so you could see how it flowed. Thanks for watching.